Hey Romans, I'm Steve Nash.
And I'm Felicia, and here is our review of Alea Iacta Est.
Yeah, don't send us any emails about how to pronounce it, alright? Because, forget.
It's all Greek to me.
It's all gravy to me, so. In this game, players are trying to get fame points by rolling dice and placing them in different buildings. In the box, you'll get 5 boards to represent different buildings, Senate cards, which are like objective cards, province tiles to represent different provinces and colors, fortune token, which can give you an extra fame point, reroll chips, which will allow you to reroll some of your dice, a starting player marker, and 40 dice of different colors.
Here's how to set up the game. First, place the forum Romanum and the latrina side by side and add columns to the forum according to the number of players playing. Shuffle all the partitions and make a deck next to the forum. Then, flip over one of those tiles for each of the columns in the forum. Then place the templum, senatus, and castrum above the forum. For the templum, shuffle all fortune tiles and place them face down under the templum. For the senatus, shuffle all senate cards and place them face down under the senatus. For the castrum, shuffle all the province cards and place them next to the castrum. Depending on the number of players playing, this is how many provinces you'll flip over and place under the castrum. So in a 3-player game, you'll flip over 3. Each player receives all the dice of one color, and you're now ready to start playing.
The game is played in sets of many rounds. Basically, a player would roll all his dice and then place at least one of them inside one of the buildings. This goes on until a player runs out of dice to roll. Players are trying to be the best in each building. Let me explain the different buildings in the game. In the templum, the first player to place one die this round will only place one die and pick up one fortune token. The second player who places dice there must place 2 dice with a total value higher than the previous die and pick up 2 fortune tokens. The third player to place dice there must place 3 dice with a total value of the previous 2 dice and picks up 3 fortune tokens, and so on. You can add dice to your group in a later round if your group still follows these rules. In the senatus, players can place as many dice as they want in a round and must form a sequence, meaning 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. You can't, however, make the exact same sequence as another player. So if he has a 2 and a 3, you can't put a 2 and a 3. However, you can put a 2, a 3, and a 4 since it's not the exact same sequence. The longest sequence here will win here at the end of the set. In the castrum, players are trying to make groups of the same dice. The group with the biggest number of dice here will win at the end of the set. You can add dice to your group on the later rounds or even make another group. The largest group here will have first pick of the provinces. In the forum, you can place 1 die starting from the left column or 2 dice with a total value of 5. So if you play a 2 and a 3 here, you have to place the 2 and 3 in numerical order starting from the left. If another player rolls a 1 and a 4, then that player places the 1 to the furthest left and moves all the dice towards the right, then places his 4 after the 3. If you place the same number like a 2 and a 3, you will place the 2 to the left of the 2s and the 3 to the left of the 3s, again pushing the dice towards the right. If a die is pushed off the forum, it enters the latrina.
Now let me show you how each building will reward you if you did well in it. Once the set is completed, all remaining dice of the players are put into the latrina. In the templum, the player with the most dice there removes those dice and gets to keep 2 of his fortune tiles and places the other face up next to the templum. The other players with at least 1 die in the templum get to keep 1 fortune tile and place the others away. In the senatus, the player who has the longest sequence takes his dice back, draws 3 senate cards, and keeps 1 face down in front of him. The other 2 cards are given to the next player with the longest sequence, and he can choose one of those cards as well. The remaining dice are placed in the latrina. In the castrum, the player with the largest group of dice takes his dice and chooses one of the provinces. Next goes the second largest group, and so on until there are no more provinces. In the forum, the player to the furthest left can pick up his die and one of the patricians. This goes on until all players in the forum have taken their dice and patricians. In the latrina, players take back their dice and 1 reroll token for each die that was there. You can use a reroll token later on to reroll some of your dice in a round. All remaining partitions and provinces are removed, and new ones are flipped over to start a new set. The game goes on for a number of sets depending on the number of players you are. Once all the sets are played, you calculate your fame points.
Here's how you finally score your points. First, you must assign your patricians to the provinces and senate cards. You can have a male and a female for each province of the same color. Each senate card has an objective. These objectives are on a separate page which players can look at to see what the objective is and how many points it's worth. Some might ask you to assign male or female patricians. Others might ask you for 2 different color patricians, etc. You get fame points for each assigned patrician and province according to the number on that tile. You then get points from your fortune tiles and complete senate cards. For each 2 reroll token you did not use, you get 1 point. Patricians not assigned are worth no points. Add everything up and the player with the highest at the end of the game wins.
I also want to mention that in a 3-player game, the templum is removed and is not used in that game. It's a fast-paced, fun dice game with a little bit of strategy, but it's mostly luck. Whatever you roll kind of predicts where you'll be placing your dice. The title of the game is a little weird and you'll find yourself something else when mentioning it to friends, like calling it the dice game, or roll through the Romans, or even the patrician game. There's also room here to make house rules on how many sets you want to play, making the game longer. We enjoyed it, and we are giving it a 7.5 on 10.